You are about to listen to the Dr. Dahlia Show. Sassy, stimulating talk radio. And now, here's Dr. Dahlia.
Doctor, tell me true. What's a heart like mine supposed to do? Doctor, will it be okay? You got the kind of stuff that makes my day.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. 1-877-Dr. Dahlia, 1-877-DOC-DALI. I really appreciate you guys tuning in, getting my getting these videos. I really appreciate you guys wanting to watch the show. So thank you guys for being patient as I get everything rocking and rolling. But I'm not going to put this on video, the segment's on video. But shaved legs versus unshaved legs at work. That is that's the question. And it's interesting because in Tokyo, they're dealing with one hell of a heat wave. I think we're all dealing with heat waves right now. Summer's always pretty rough. And the summers are getting warmer. But in Tokyo, it is very, very hot. I have a friend right now in Tokyo. And it's hot. And so there's a campaign they're doing at work allowing men to wear shorts. You know, we think of Tokyo as very suit and tie and uniform. But because of the heat, they're urging men to wear shorts. Now, women could do what they want. I don't know if women are not allowed to wear shorts. I think they can if they want to, but many of us have had jobs where you couldn't. I remember my mom during her secretarial days, you always had to wear a skirt. You could never wear pants in the 60s. And I couldn't imagine where I had to wear a skirt every day and shave my legs every day, and nylons, because they wore nylons. Now nobody wears nylons. They just put the skirt on and they don't care. But this is interesting because you would think, okay, who cares? Guys wear shorts. But some of the women are complaining that it's harassment looking at the male leg hair. So let me just give you this. This is being reported by BBC News. So the Tokyo metropolitan government is pushing company employees to get rid of their suit and tie and wear T-shirts, trainers, and shorts. Tokyo Governor Yuriko Koike introduced the Tokyo Cool Biz in April, wanting to expand her signature cool down initiative, which is now a, I guess, widely recognized annual summer tradition. Allowing shorts in the office policy allows people to be more cool, allows them to be more relaxed, not sweaty and sticky and getting rashes and candida and tinea and all sorts of yeast infections. But the policy, some people think that the policy is unfair to women because they are still expected to wear tights when showing a part of their legs. So that is interesting. And women describe the experience of leg hair harassment, or a term coined as sunahara. They get uncomfortable seeing a man's hair. Now, I get if a man is wearing Speedos, okay, where the hair distribution starts to get a little bit more robust as you go closer and closer to the groin. And it suggests that you are going, closer to a groin area. The reason why, the hair distribution, it's all about this is all evolutionarily advantageous, I guess, aspects to how we are, with women, or men, the hair is more sparse the farther away from where they're supposed to focus their attention on reproduction. So as you get closer to areas, and then the hair distribution, like with a woman, it's very triangular, looking like a, for those who don't shave, like an arrow, like, excuse me, this is where you need to go. The boobies are kind of like stop. Okay, this isn't actually where a lot's going to happen, but look at these. Okay, they're basically an eye view. And then follow the arrow. With men as well. Even though with men, you don't necessarily need the facial hair to kind of show you where to go, but oftentimes it does. Plus, it provides protection. It reduces friction, which is extremely important because if you start to chafe or hurt, you don't want to have sex. And the imagery is large enough for people who don't have glasses. God or nature knew that people would start being nearsighted or farsighted and have issues, especially with low light and night vision. So he had to kind of make things a little bit more easier for us to see without using lenses until we finally, created and invented lenses and have glasses. Not that people wear glasses all the time to find their mate and where to go. So yes, the hair distribution could suggest, I guess, sexual geography, but we're not talking about short shorts or somebody falling out like in that Friends episode. We're talking about, just letting, and so, but it's interesting because, the idea of people wearing, people showing hair on the legs. In the olden days, you had hairy armpits, you had hairy legs, nobody cared. Now there's this trend where you need to shave and cut and trim. And, we talked about this where I think women have been getting themselves into a lot of trouble by doing too much because society wants, bear, bald eagle, whatever, and in terms of genitalia, shall we say, style, and we shave, we pluck, we do so much, and in other cultures or in the olden days, they were let the hair grow. The hair provides protection. The hair provides warmth. The hair prevents bacteria from getting in. It provides protection. It's now I like to shave my legs, not as often as I used to. Luckily pants, prevent me from needing to do that all the time. But I do prefer it. I don't like myself being. I just prefer it, and maybe it's just because it's a societal thing. But in terms of if I saw somebody with hair on their legs, if I saw a woman with hairy armpits or hair on their legs, it doesn't bother me. That's normal. And I'm a doctor, and I see women. I was surprised how many patients don't shave. I mean, your friends in high school and all that. Yeah, everybody seems to be shaved, and you're in gym, and everybody can tell what everybody does. But the average patient, the average woman, not really big or up to ensuring that it really depends on are they in public or not. But now there's this change where in public people are like, I don't care. I'm not going to shave. I'm going to have hairy legs. What are you going to do about it? And in fact, I think what some people are doing is they're doing that to dissuade people, to kind of give people, now that we have a more anti-person sort of behavior, they're like, look, I'm hairy, so stay away from me. 1-877 Doc Dolly, don't go away. Dr. Dahlia here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Increase fuel economy up to 7.9% with Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme, the solution to maximize your engine's performance and fuel economy. Whether you're driving a sports car or a daily commuter, Gasoline Extreme is specially formulated with PEA to deep clean. Don't settle for an average driving experience. Upgrade to Hot Shot Secret Gasoline Extreme and go further on each tank. Order now on Amazon or HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Have you ever thought you'd like to buy and sell houses but didn't know how or where to get the money? My name is Ron LeGrand, and over the past 40 years, I've bought over 3,000 houses without using my money or credit and taught thousands to do the same. Today, even in a virtual environment, we buy nice houses in nice neighborhoods using no banks, realtors, contractors, or other costly entanglements, and build huge cash flow and wealth without the hassle of tenants, all without credit and little or no money. You don't need a license or experience, and I'll show you exactly how it's done. Text FREE to 99799, and I'll send you my free training. I promise you I'll change the way you think about real estate and open the door to a new lifestyle that doesn't involve risk or rehabs and can quickly replace your current income. Text FREE to 99799, and let me show you how to take your life back and build cash flow and wealth from your home. That's FREE to 99799. Again, FREE to 99799.
right, we are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show. 1877 Doc Dali, 1877 DOCDALI. Big thanks to Talk Media Network for making the show happen. Big thanks to Daniel, our producer, and big thanks to y'all for tuning in. We really do appreciate it. Don't forget to follow us on Twitter or X at Dr. Dahlia, Facebook, the Dr. Dahlia Show, and on YouTube. Click like and subscribe. So I have embraced tech. I like tech. I think AI could have advantages in medicine and in making humans more efficient, especially since we've seen a lot of half-assed stuff being done. Love the idea that we have a safety net where a computer can figure out if somebody makes a mistake. Definitely want to make sure that happens. But I've always had a distrust with tech. And maybe it's because of the movie Terminator 2. I keep bringing that one up. That scared me a little bit with Skynet. And maybe it's because of what humans want. And you got to be careful for what you wish for. And also it's because of what is being put into the databases that these AIs are drawing from. And so the concept that's been around now for decades, where AI could turn around and do something malicious or something with malice, has persisted. And people say, oh, no, that's just Hollywood. Well, no. And apparently an AI model, we are being told, decided on its own to hack and commit a cyber attack. It just went rogue on its own. And this is something that I think is of a very validated fear that a lot of us have. And we always make the mistake of jumping into something without making sure the infrastructure and the checks and balances are in place. So we're being told that OpenAI, and thank you for being honest about it, has revealed that an autonomous AI agent powered by their technology went rogue. This is being reported by The Guardian and multiple news outlets, okay? It went rogue during a test, accessed the open web, and hacked a prominent startup, which they call a, quote, unprecedented incident. The company behind ChatGPT is OpenAI, and they said the startup Hugging Face had detected and contained the agent. It's an AI tool designed to carry out tasks without human assistance. But apparently this AI tool entered its systems. OpenAI said, we consider this incident to be an unprecedented cyber incident involving state-of-the-art cyber capabilities. The funny thing is, there's some people probably going, okay, that's cool. That's exactly what we want AI to do. Maybe if you're in cyber warfare with other countries, yes, it would be nice to stop their drones. I am sure the technology is there and we know how to, it is going to be programmed or designed. But for those of us who want our pacemaker to work, right, no, this is not something we want as a whole. The company said it expected this type of incident to become more commonplace as models, the technology that kind of underpins these AI tools like chatbots and agents, as these models become more capable. AI said the hack occurred via an agent powered by a combination of its latest publicly available model called GTP 5.6 Sol and an even more capable model that has not yet been released. So according to The Guardian, they said while being tested internally on their hacking capabilities in an enclosed digital laboratory known as a sandbox, the models gained open internet access, found an escape route, located a vulnerability that had not been discovered before. And I know some people are like, Dahlia, where's the bad in this? There's computer people that, and I get, they're like, well, you want your AI to find vulnerabilities. And I am sure somebody is going to look at this as a positive, but that's, and that's, I think, also the problem we have. We're not all on the same page. If you have vulnerabilities, you want your computer system to find those vulnerabilities. In order for them to find the vulnerabilities, they have to learn how to hack. They have to, exploit things. So, yeah, in the computer world, they're probably like, this is cool. For those of us, especially in medicine, not so cool. They say the agent then hacked Hugging Face. I like that name, Hugging Face, which is a database of AI models. So I wonder if that's that emoji, with the hands. It looks like, like jazz hands. I think that's Hugging Face. I don't know. But anyway, this Hugging Face is a The agent hacked into it, which is a database of AI models, to locate technology that would help it pass the hacking evaluation. It inferred that Hugging Face might have the models, data sets, and solutions for passing the test, so want to cheat. They want to copy. OpenAI said the model successfully found ways to gain access to secret information that it could use to cheat the evaluation. Ooh, that is smart. The attack ended when Hugging Face's security team and its own AI agents spotted and stopped the rogue activity. Now, their chief executive is Clement Delang, said the attack was mind-blowing, but believed AI didn't do it intentionally. There was no malicious intent. They said we suspected the last week's cyber attack might have come from a frontier lab, given the sophistication of the agent. So Hugging Face announced yesterday they were hacked. They didn't know it was OpenAI. Because some people are like, why would OpenAI tell us? This is a pretty, kind of big goof or a big advancement. Why would they tell us? Well, because already the secret's out. So they're going to get found. So they have to, be open. But they revealed at the time that it had turned to a freely available Chinese AI model to analyze what had happened because the safety guardrails on the commercial high-end models wouldn't allow it to do so. So OpenAI needed to go to China's tech. And China is really trying to beat us in the AI war. I don't think they're going to, long term, I think America is going to succeed, but it looks like we're still relying on China. So they say the term for an unknown IT flaw is a 0-day vulnerability because developers have 0 minutes to fix the problem. They say in April, OpenAI's close rival Anthropic said its Mythos model had found thousands of these flaws. So the Mythos's ability to exploit 0 days led the U.S. government restricting exports of Mythos and its sister model Fable 5. It has lifted the ban recently, but we're not ready. That's the moral to the story is we have these companies and we have these experts and all that doing what they're doing, but I don't think the public is ready for this. And AI, it's not that it's a human. It's not that AI is going to become human. It's just AI is using code and data and a form of digital cyber logic. And it can find vulnerabilities. And it can find cracks in the system. And it can learn how to exploit and manipulate. And we, as humans, are making the mistake of wanting AI to manage many of our problems. And so I worry if, let's say, and I've said this before, let's say we're having trouble with Medicare funding and Social Security funding. And AI has as one of its, not theorems, postulates, or no, one of its, what's the word I want to say? But one of its narratives, shall we say, of, we have too much population. Can we trust that if a 78-year-old woman's breast imaging has something wrong, will the AI find it more advantageous to not report on it, to allow that older person to die, than to report on it? We'll tell it, you need to find where there's pathology. You need to make us more efficient in medicine. But what if AI thinks the efficiency is fewer patients? If you have fewer patients, you have more hospital beds. You have more resources. Now, you would think, well, no, because if you have a human running the hospital, they'll obviously go for the more ethical, humane way to go. AI isn't human. It's not going to be looking at humane. Its job is efficiency. This efficiency can be scary. You saw scientists try to be efficient with genetically trying to filter out certain, shall we say, traits that they felt were not going to have perfect humans. This is why we had eugenics, sadly. And then the Nazis decided to really take that to newer extremes, where, well, if you have somebody who has a mental illness, or if you have somebody that committed a crime, don't allow them to reproduce so that the new progeny doesn't have those inclinations. That's not what we want AI to do. Humans did that, and that was disgusting. But what if AI is tasked with how do we fight crime? How do we fight? It might decide that something like that is in its best interest because it doesn't care if your next door neighbor dies or not. So, knowing that these AIs are not controllable, that they could go rogue, and then humans are trying to, with this 0 day, no notice, trying to fix, we're putting ourselves in a very perilous situation. 1-877 Doc Dolly, don't go away.
Looking for a gift that can actually help secure someone's future? It's Mark Falter's new book, Common Sense Income Strategies. It makes the perfect gift for that special someone in your life. Mark has helped thousands of hardworking Americans secure their financial future by using time-tested strategies that continue to create wealth, whether the market is up or down. Strategies that will make perfect sense once you take the time to read this powerful book. Common Sense Income Strategies brings to you what Mark has been teaching in person and talking about on the radio for decades. You've worked too long and too hard not to see the fruits of your labor. To learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635. Secure your future with Common Sense Income Strategies by Mark Falter. Again, to learn how to receive your free copy, call 866-764-2635. That's 866-764-2635.
All right, we are back on the Dr. Dolly Show. 1-877 Dr. Dolly, 1-877 DOCDALI. So I think I don't really like to speak in absolutes, but never sleep with the staff, I think should be an absolute. And in fact, Congress is looking to adopt that. Speaker Mike Johnson, in light of some of the allegations that have happened with lawmakers for years, would like a ban on Congress people sleeping with their staff, unless, of course, they're actually married. Not sure if they've, if they're, dating long-term relationship, if there's exemptions that people could apply for. But this is being reported by WAVY, where Speaker Mike Johnson yesterday indicated that he would support expanding the House's prohibition on sexual relationships between lawmakers and staff members. He said that, I can't believe it would be acceptable in any situation. You have a role where you have members of Congress and their subordinates and staff members. I think it's inappropriate, as it should be in any workplace, and most companies have that in terms of the rule. He said we should, at a bare minimum in Congress, have rules and traditions that are adhered to in corporate America. So that's an easy one for me. So I believe there was a, back with the Me Too movement in 2018, the House adopted a prohibition in its Code of Official Conduct against sexual relationships between lawmakers and staff members under their direct supervision or staff members of a committee on which they serve. Of course, there was an exemption in case you were married. But they say the rule allows members to have relationships with other, I guess, other lawmaker staff. So let's say I'm Senator Dahlia or Senator Wax. Yay, hi, Senator. I'd be good. I'd be like, hey, guys, let's just listen to the people. Screw you guys on this whole DR thing. Just what do my constituents need? Let's not be stupid, okay? Just do what we got to do. Meanwhile, I am really liking one of the, shall we say, staff, one of Mitch McConnell's young, strapping staffers. And I decided, no, it's inappropriate. It is absolutely inappropriate. And one, it's inappropriate because you have somebody of power being able to then, you feel like it's interesting with the Monica Lewinsky, Bill Clinton, President Clinton thing. I didn't really have an opinion on it. I was so busy in school and I was like, okay, come on, man. But a lot of people felt that Bill Clinton took advantage of her. We all thought in the 90s that she wanted to hook up with the president. And she found a way to get into the Oval Office and, smoke a cigar with him, shall we speak. But, people said, look, you got the commander in chief and you have somebody who, can be overwhelmed by their power. How do we know it was completely consensual? I always thought it was consensual because I thought there was, like, Linda Tripp was her friend, and I thought they were bragging about there being, some, shall we say, sediment on the dress. And so I always thought there was a consensual aspect to it. But you don't need that. If you are in public office, do you really, really want to start with all the drama there is with politics? But by the way, aren't you supposed to be concentrating on your constituents? Are you really supposed to be distracted with what's going on at work? Which brings up the second reason. It always goes bad with the maybe, 99.9999999% of the time. It's very rare that you find your true love, in somebody else's office chambers. All right. It's rare, but yeah, maybe some people find love at work. But it always seems to go bad. And that's a distraction. There's already enough toxicity and drama in Washington. You really want to add you didn't call me. Why can't I see you again? It's just not, not to mention, if these people are married, okay, that's horrible. That it just puts the country in a difficult position. And I really do believe, even though I don't really like government being in our business, I do believe in a code of ethics. Who you sleep with and what you do in your bedroom is in your bedroom. But if at all it involves other people or work, that's an issue. And if you are a congressperson and you want your staff person to be making phone calls, they're sitting there, trying to watch when it's and I'm not stereotyping. This stuff happens. One show that is not a very good show, but I watch it. It's Below Deck. And I think anybody who has a daughter or son, but especially a daughter, should maybe watch this. Where you see in the early part of the season, one of the girls or guys or two guys or whatever, they hook up. And you feel like that relationship is going to go on forever. They're so in love. And then 2 or 3 episodes in, it turns because there's a new stew that comes on the deck or there's new whatever. And then that person drops that person like they're nothing and like they're toxic. And then they go throughout the whole season crying. In fact, one of the latest, seasons we're watching is somebody likes 2 women, sleeps with one of them, decides he doesn't like the one he slept with, and now she's getting him back and he's about to get fired. It's just not worth it. It never, ever works out. Now, I get, can you find love? You're single. Your work used to be where you found so you would find, hopefully you would date in school. And then after school, if you didn't marry your childhood sweetheart, you would meet somebody either at the bar, friends of a friends, or at work. I know a lot of people who they ended up marrying at work. It's a small percentage of the amount of, relationships that go to and fro at work. But sometimes you can find your true love because you're working with them. You could start a relationship. You have a friendship. You have things in common. But when you are serving a finite amount of time and you can't. People always ask me, what about doctors and patients? Doctors falling for their patients. We have strict codes. You are not allowed to date your patient. You're not supposed to. If you do, and there have been some doctors that have done that or gotten their patient pregnant. It's bad. And then they're up on board. It's not, I sometimes like to read the board complaints. Yeah, and then you see some people that and you're like, oh, dude, come on, man, you knew better than that. Can you imagine where a patient keeps coming in, 3 times a week. Yeah, I'm here because I have strep again, or I have whatever. And it's like, come on, man. It's just not good. And so if, let's say, a doctor and a patient fall in love, or a doctor and a nurse, okay, they're supposed to separate the work relationship. So if you want to date your patient, you're supposed to fire your patient. Say, I'm going to have you taken care of by another doctor. This way I don't lose my license. And then after we have completely dissolved the doctor-patient relationship, and I think there has to be some time that passes. I think every medical board has, for sometimes you have to wait a year or two. I don't know all the different medical board states or rules, but there's, you can't just fire them and say, okay, I'm going to fire you as a patient, and then I'm going to date you tonight. And then, you know what, we're going to break up on Friday and then come back on Monday as a patient. You can't do that. So there has to be a dissolution of that relationship. And in medicine, that's been commonplace. So yes, I do think Speaker Johnson is right about that. And again, if you, let's say, really, really fall for somebody at work and you really want to date them, just for your longevity of that relationship, I would switch to a different job. It's really uncomfortable when everybody knows your business and everybody's watching and you have all these external factors. And then if you break up, you feel like you can't. So already start working on your plan B. Because if you guys break up, you're going to want to be at a different job. I'm telling you right now. 1-877-Doc-Dolly. Don't go away.
Hey guys, it's Clyde. We've had a lot of requests for Ground Zero merchandise, so we put together an online store with a big variety of high-quality items. I'm really excited to let you know about these things. We have a lot to offer you and your loved ones. In addition to our regular apparel, such as t-shirts, beanies, hoodies, and hats, we've expanded our product line with posters, flags, aprons, mugs, and a whole lot more. We also have Ground Zero collectibles, along with a limited edition of items like a Clyde Lewis canvas portrait, a Ground Zero embroidered jacket that will certainly make for great gifts and for interesting conversations with family and friends. And we now offer publications such as Ron Patton's book about mind control, MK Zine, and back copies of the official magazine of Ground Zero while it was in print. Paranoia, the Conspiracy Reader, also coming in 2023, are updated and revised books that I've written. There's a secure and easy-to-use shopping cart for your purchases. So shop today at our official store by going to groundzeromerch.com. Again, that's groundzeromerch.com.
Hey, America. How tired are you of mainstream corporate media's biased narratives and manipulated news? Their dishonesty and attempts to influence this generation have been exposed, put on display for anyone who's even half paying attention. But the New American Magazine has been an honest source of news and commentary for over 50 years. This is your opportunity to receive the stalwart of principled journalism at a deep discount. Picture a beautifully published magazine arriving at your doorstep twice a month, packed with insightful stories written with integrity. It's also available digitally on the New American's mobile app. Get up to speed with intelligent coverage from a freedom perspective. Right now, for a limited time, the New American is available to radio listeners at a 25% discount on a new subscription. Visit thenewamerican.com/radio25 and receive 25% off. Subscribe today at thenewamerican.com/radio25.
We are back on the Dr. Dahlia Show, 1-877-Doc-Dolly, 1-877-DOCDALI. So tragically, a 5th person has died in a Legionnaires disease outbreak in New York City. We're being told that as of today, 82 people have tested positive for Legionnaires, and 36 buildings could possibly be harboring the dangerous bacteria. New York City Health Department, according to the Brooklyn Daily Eagle, says it has confirmed the presence of the bacteria in 34 cooling towers in 33 buildings, all of which are currently being now cleaned. Officials still, though, have not identified the source of the bacteria that have sickened, as I said, about 82 people. I think we're at 76 cases yesterday, and now we're at 82. But the department said no new patients have come forward with symptoms in the last 10 days. This Legionnaires disease is a form of pneumonia. It is treatable, but 10% of patients can die. It's caused by the Legionella bacteria. It grows in warm water, and we get it oftentimes when we turn on the shower and we breathe the vapor in. So you could get Legionella bacteria from your hot tubs, from showers, from building cooling equipment. So if you inhale contaminated water droplets, you could get Legionnaires. It's unlikely to be spread from person to person. But we used to think that because, my husband would take a shower, then I would go take a shower. So obviously family members are using the same shower. But but technically, if you get it and then you go to work, you shouldn't necessarily be giving somebody else this pneumonia. 8 people are still right now in the hospital. 56 others have been hospitalized but have been discharged. And the city is now cleaning and disinfecting a total of 82 cleaning towers in 80 buildings. According to Brooklyn Daily Eagle, inspections have shown that some of the neighborhoods, apartment buildings, private schools, museums had traces of Legionella bacteria in their air cooling equipment, despite new regulations that upped testing requirements just this spring. There was also a budget boost to hire more inspectors. So this is all Mamdani. Some owners of buildings have tested positive. I'm sorry. Some owners of buildings have tested positive. Okay, I just thought of something. Does Brooklyn have its own mayor, or is Brooklyn still under the Mamdani? Because I'd like to know. I'd like to just look that up really really quickly. No, it's not pulling up for me. I apologize. So Brooklyn mayor, I apologize. I just want to know that for sure. Yeah, it is still under Zohran Mamdani. Okay. Yeah, because I know there's the 5 boroughs, but I want to make sure that there's not like its own sub. I had to just check that out before I said that. I don't like Zohran Mamdani, so but still, I have to respect the art of journalism and make sure I'm reporting on the right thing. They say some owners of buildings that tested positive said they have worked to stay on top of this Legionella threat. The Guggenheim Museum said in a statement that an outside company tests and treats the institution's cooling tower every month. So there's now an attorney who is representing 50 people who were affected by the outbreak last year that I believe killed 7 people. This was in Harlem last year. He's represented at least 3 patients who are recovering now in this Upper East Side outbreak. And Jory Lang is the attorney. He says there's no excuse for this to keep happening. New York already has the best and strongest regulations, and yet this keeps happening. So the health commissioner spoke out. Dr. Alistair Martin said in a statement that the department's quick action after the first 2 confirmed cases saved lives. The department will learn what happened from the ongoing investigation and update policies and procedures. So after the Harlem outbreak last year, city leaders authorized the health department in November to hire 23 more Legionella-focused water ecologists and supervisors, bringing the intended total to 56. The staff currently stands at 35. The department said in a statement Tuesday, noting that another 14 people are now in onboarding, which is a months-long process of orientation, training, and shadowing veteran inspectors. But I guess there's 7 more positions. So for those of you who are Legionnaire ecologist experts, might want to look at getting a job at the New York City Health Department. But they say the agency did nearly 1,600 cooling tower inspections in the first 6 months of the year, 35% more than during the same period in 2025. So it's frustrating that anybody should possibly be at risk for something like this. But unfortunately, with the mayhem of the heat and the mass population and the mass amount of buildings, they're talking about 33 buildings. How many other buildings got are affected? So just to review, Legionella bacteria really, really like warm water. And so they will spread through the mist, whether you have a building cooling tower, a hot tub, these decorative fountains, and just your shower, you could get it. Now, the symptoms can happen anywhere from a couple days of the incubation period to 2 weeks. So I was in New York a couple weeks ago. And yes, I did take a shower. Now, I don't think I was on the Upper East Side. I think I was in Lower Manhattan. So for most of it. So I'm sure I'm fine, but still, this can happen in hotels. This could happen anywhere. The symptoms include a high fever, cough, shortness of breath, muscle aches, headaches. It could also cause GI issues like nausea and diarrhea. Most people will recover. But if you used to smoke, if you're older, if you have a weakened immune system, you could be at risk. Luckily, we have antibiotics. And antibiotics can treat this. You will have some people where the antibiotics will not work. It's people always ask, am I making myself more, shall we say, vulnerable by taking lots of antibiotics? I think so. Let's talk about that for a quick second. Whether it's Legionnaires or not, I've had patients where they don't have diabetes. They don't have, from what I understand, an immunocompromised state. But they keep coming back saying the antibiotic's not working. The antibiotic's not working. I'm like, it's a pretty strong antibiotic. So I'm like, well, let's test you. Let's test you to see if you still have a bacteria or pneumonia. No, I don't want to test. I just want another antibiotic. And they'll say, I was on antibiotics a lot as a kid. So the antibiotic just doesn't work. We used to, how we were taught is treat if there is bacteria. Try to confirm, like with strep. People will call up telemedicine saying, I have strep, but their throat doesn't look like strep. Well, if it doesn't look it, you could be having a viral sore throat. And we used to overdo antibiotics, especially with young kids, thinking something was strep when it wasn't. You could tell if something is strep, and if not, we have testing. But when somebody doesn't, shall we say, have a bacteria and they take antibiotics and they feel better, we spoke about how sometimes antibiotics can make people feel better even with viruses. Look at how we're using antibiotics for the cyclospora parasite. It's a parasite, but the antibiotic is found to interfere with its folic acid metabolism and use, and so it could cause the parasite to die and not replicate. So you can use antibiotics for other things. We don't like to because we really need to save the antibiotics for your bacterial infections. But if your body is, I do believe you could gain a sort of tolerance. We used to think it was just, well, the antibiotic attacks the bacteria. And the antibiotic will attack the bacteria, so it really doesn't matter about you because the bacteria and the antibiotic are its own relationship. But what if your body is so used to seeing this foreign antibiotic that it actually interferes with the antibiotic from doing what it needs to do? Now, we think antibiotic resistance is usually the pathogen. The pathogen is, building a tougher wall or figuring out how to escape and not allow the antibiotic to kill it. And that is the most common cause of resistance. But I really do think we need to look at these people that take chronic antibiotics or frequent antibiotics. If what happens is their body, because of that overuse, is trying to protect the body from the antibiotic, that the bacteria gets a mulligan. 1-877-Doc-Dolly, don't go away. Dr. Dahlia here. Are you tired, burned out, gaining weight, succumbing to the daily pressures of life? Well, how's your dopamine doing? How you feel right now, how you'll feel an hour from now, and how you'll feel next week is completely reliant on your dopamine. Our daily motivation and willingness to push through challenges depends on the intricate chemical process dopamine provides. Christian Kalikas and I created Deploying Dopamine, a book that tells you what dopamine is, when it dysfunctions, and how to successfully deploy it when needed. Find Deploying Dopamine on Amazon today. Check it out.
Carl Amari here to tell you about our newest website for old-time radio lovers. It's 100radioshows.com. At this site, there are 5 old-time radio shows waiting for you to download free as our gift to you, and be sure to browse the additional 700 old-time radio shows available to you for 70% off by using the promo code RADIO at checkout. This is a limited-time offer, so log on to 100radioshows.com. That's 100radioshows.com.